I'm Coach Chuck Klausing. I've coached actively for 46 years, but I retired 10 years ago, and I run camps around the country for over 1,000 kids and 100 coaches. And I've had a very varied career where I started out in high school for 12 years. I coached at Rutgers and at West Point, was a head coach at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, was assistant head coach at West Virginia for Bobby Bowden, then went on my own again for 10 years at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, and I had 1 year at the University of Pittsburgh, and I thought I retired at age 62, but I was talked into coaching at a prep school called Kiski right near Pittsburgh, my home, and I have enjoyed every bit of it. And since my retirement 10 years ago, I've been coaching camps and innovating a new offense that I'd like to discuss with you here today. I started to see it 10 years ago, and I think the first I saw it, Steve Spurrier ran a couple of speed sweeps at Florida, and then at one of my camps, a young coach by the name of Eric Hogg from Webster County, West Virginia, started to show me the Jet Series, and I was teaching at times in Europe, and I experimented with it at the Austrian Sports University in Linz, Austria, and we made some changes. I didn't think the jet sweep was fast enough when we first started it, and because we were handing off on the midline. And I'm going to, in my talk this morning, I'm going to give you not only the plays, but about 41 techniques, fundamentals, and coaching points that are very necessary with it. But I want to talk and show you something that at times we hear about the fly offense, and it's a very good offense. It's on the West Coast, and well, on the East Coast we call it the Jet Series. And the fly offense has, I think, been innovated by the coaches at Willamette College, and Mark Speckman is the head coach there and doing a great job. But the big difference in the fly is that the ball is handed off on the midline, and the back, after receiving the ball, dips 4 to 5 yards deep, where their favorite formations are two-back formations, and the Jet Series, our favorite formation, are one-backs, and I'm going to show you what I think is a big difference. Now, some people ask me at times, why do you use the jet? And I found that defenses were starting to stop the wing T offense that I coached for over 46 years, and they were reading guards and wrong arming our kick-out blocks, and I wanted something that would give us another way of getting on the flank, and the Jet Series was it. Now, also in the Jet Series, we hand the ball off with full speed motion and hand it in the front side A-gap, and our back stays parallel to the line of scrimmage and tries to go as wide as possible. I'm going to put up a base play from the Jet Series, and then I'll go over the techniques and coaching points for the play. Basically, again, our formation is a one-back formation. Our quarterback, on the snap of the ball, he has nodded and started a wing-back in full-speed motion, and he wants to hand the ball off when that man is about 4 feet from him. The handoff is in the front side A-gap, and we ask the back to try to take the ball to the hash mark, to the numbers, to the sideline, and the wider the better, because we're running away from the defensive pursuit. Okay, now I want to show you the base sweep in the Jet Series, and Our quarterback nods to the wide receiver or wingback on his side and starts him in full speed motion. The ball is snapped when he's about 4 feet from the ball. The quarterback does a reverse 180-degree pivot, hands off to that wingback who takes the ball to the hash, hopefully to the numbers, to the sideline, and turns up. The quarterback, after the handoff, can fake a bootleg out to the other side. His fullback, who is aligned 5 yards deep, fakes the trap up the middle, and the blocking scheme, basically, we need to block the people outside of the B gap. The B gap is between the guard and tackle. Our assignments for the left tackle is to block the first guy outside of the B gap, and in this case, this is his assignment, and he uses a reach block. Our slot blocks the number 2 man outside of the B gap, and he is trying to reach on him also. Our split end stock blocks the man covering him. In case that man covering him goes back and they do invert coverage, then we would want him to turn back on the invert. We do pull the front side guard, and he is to look for linebackers or safeties downfield. Our assignments for the center and backside guard are a little different, and this is a little change we've done in the offense. We ask the center to block the man on him or the man away from him, and the backside guard gut blocks to set up the trap that we will do to the fullback. Our backside tackle and end releases and tries to get crossfield on the play. This is the number 1 base play. The formation that we are running it from, we call red formation. And what we mean by red is the tight end and wing to the right. First letter of red is right. And our play, the same play from the opposite formation, which is blue. The tight end and wingback is on the left side, and we run the same play to the slot to the other side. I'm going to put up the base play to a tight end wing, and assignments are just about the same. All right, now we're in red formation. We ran the sweep to the slot. We want to run it to the tight end wing right. And again, the quarterback will lift a heel or give a nod to his slot back to go in motion. We want him to snap the ball when he's about 4 feet from the quarterback. The quarterback, after taking the snap, does a reverse pivot 180 degrees into the front side A gap. He will hand the ball off to the slot back, and again, we want the slot to go to the hash, to the numbers, to the sideline, and turn up. Naturally, if the defense is pursued too fast, there are times when he has to turn up earlier. Now, the base blocking scheme again is the tackle blocks the first guy outside of the front side B gap. The tight end blocks the second guy outside of the B gap, and the wingback blocks the third guy outside of the B gap. We pull the inside guard again, hopefully to pick up linebacker or downfield blocking. Our center blocks on, away. Our backside guard pulls and guts. We crossfield with the tackle. We crossfield with the split end. And this is the basic sweep to the right. Our fullback can do one of two things. He can fake the trap, or at times we have the fullback fake the down, When he's faking the down, the quarterback, after hands off, will fake the down play and then fake a keep to the other side. Now, these are the base plays, and quite often people will show you the base plays and will not show you the techniques and the fundamentals, which I think are very important, and the best detail that we can give is going to help us make this offense go. Now, I've tried to prepare the 41 or so techniques and fundamentals that I think are so important in this offense, and I hope I have them down here for you. Now, we're looking at the number one technique is the quarterback's 180-degree pivot, and I'm just going to draw it up so we fully understand it. There's the center, quarterback behind him. He nods on the snap of the ball. We have him take a little short jab step with his left foot, do a complete pivot, 180 degrees. Now his back is to the defense, and he's facing the backfield where he'd hand off to the man coming on the jet motion. Now, it's important to get the snap call correctly. Now, the snap call is when the motion back is in the backside B gap, or approximately 4 feet away. And, our terminology, this is the A gap and this is the backside B gap. And here comes the motion man. And we snap the ball when he's about that point. He's about 1 full step or 4 feet from the ball when we hand off. Now, again, the emphasis that the handoff is in the front side A gap. This is the main difference between the Jet Series and the Fly Series. That, like I say, on the Fly, the ball is handed off in the midline, and on the Jet Series, the ball is handed off in the front side A gap. By handing it off in that front side A gap, we are giving our back a chance to outrun the defense, where we only have to block 3 people on the outside. Now, on the sweep to the left, the quarterback gives the ball with the right hand. And let me emphasize a little bit. He does that reverse pivot. His back is to the line of scrimmage, and he hands that ball off with the right hand, and then the quarterback does a fake, and his fake is a bootleg, or it can be a fake of a fullback isolation type play. Now, again, plays are great, but if you don't have the techniques and fundamentals, they're not going to be successful for you. Now, the thing that I like about this offense also is there are times when we miss the handoff. The back is coming so fast. Our quarterback has maybe a little problem getting the ball from center, and he misses the handoff. Well, we have 2 alternates when that happens. And we want that handoff to be in the front side A gap, and if it's not handed off in the front side A gap, we think it's too slow. In other words, if he pivoted and gave the ball on the midline, it's going to be difficult to outrun the flank. So there are times when he almost hands the ball off in the front side B gap, and that's better than handing it off too early. Now, the handoff is with the right hand. Again, the quarterback does his reverse pivot. He hands that ball off to the motion man with his right hand. The left halfback's alignment. Now, this is, I believe in aligning very precise in the offense. And our line tries to be as far back off the ball as legally possible, and their hands are breaking the waist of the center. And we take a 2-foot split, a 2-foot split of the tackle, a 3-foot base split of the tight end. Our wing back takes 1 step out and 1 step back, so he's approximately 1 yard to the outside. Our left guard back off the ball, a 2-foot split, left tackle, a 2-foot split. And we asked our slot to take 1 step out, 2 steps out, 3 steps back, 1 step back, and he's in approximately the same position if there was a tight end there. So the left halfback alignment, if he has a tight end, is 1 by 1, but if he's aligning on the tackle, it's 1 by 3. Now, again, I think I'm trying to emphasize I drew a play, but I haven't gone over the techniques and the fundamentals to make it go. And I'm going to draw up the left halfback's position, which I said is 3 steps out, 1 step back. And his assignment is to block the second guy outside of the B gap. Let's say that's number 1. Now they have a guy head up with him or inside of him or outside of him. And we do what we call a reach block. And again, I'm 28 years of age and I look like I'm 78. But last week I was at the NFL line coaches clinic. And every line coach had talked about the reach block from their stance, and you could do it from a 2-point stance. They take a step back. They say lose ground to gain ground. And they do a crossover step. The third step, and the shoulder is trying to reach block on that number 2 man, and then they try to out-accelerate their opponent. So the technique is a reach block, and the assignment is the second man outside of the B gap, and it's a very important block. In teaching this offense, I think you got to drill your tackles, you got to drill your slots, you got to drill your line and reach blocking. Reach blocking is one of the most important things. Now, an important coaching point of that that slot back that is blocking the number 2 man is not permit him to penetrate. Let's say he came on a penetrating angle and you miss him. And, we pull that guard. The guard is never going to get out. He's going to bump into him. So we have to do everything to prevent the penetration. Now, we talked about the left halfback. Let's go back to the right halfback. If there is a tight end there, he's 1 yard outside, 1 yard back. If he's a slot, we have him take 1 step, take 2 steps, take 3 steps, take 1 step back, and his inside foot is 3 steps from his tackle and 1 step back. Now, we talked about the snap. There's 2 types of snaps that we do in this offense. We can use a solid count where we just nod to the slot or wing back to come in motion. Or we can lift our heel to set him in motion. Sometimes we use a verbal count of red, which tells him to get in motion, and set go, and we snap the ball on go when he is in that backside B gap. So the snap is with a heel lift, a nod, or a command, red, set, go. And the man goes in motion on red, but the ball is snapped on go. Again, coaching points. right halfback's aiming spot is about 1 yard behind that quarterback, because we got to give the quarterback room for his pivot. Now, the type of handoff is very important, and the nomenclature is a Delaware handoff. Many people, back when I started to play, took the ball with the inside elbow up. But we have found, and our players have taught us, that this is sort of the Delaware handoff, where our palms are open, our hands are on our groin area, and as we come to take that ball that the quarterback has handed off to us, we scoop it and bring it into our stomach. After getting the ball in our stomach, we slide it to the off shoulder, we dip our inside shoulder, and we take off as fast as we can to the flank. Some people have a handoff, and it's a good one also, with the palms open, the inside palm on the groin, the offside palm as sort of a bumper to keep the ball from going through, and that is also an excellent handoff technique. After the handoff, and again, this is where we're a little different than the fly people on the West Coast. After the handoff, the back gives about a yard, and we want to get on that flank as fast as we can. And if we call fly, and there's times that we will run some plays from the fly, we have our back, after getting the ball, give about 3 yards. On the jet, and boy, I can't emphasize this enough, try to take the ball to the hash mark. Take it to the numbers. Turn up at the sideline. I've seen some jet sweeps, and no one sees more than them and I, because I have these 7 camps each summer, and I have about 100 different teams that send me their tapes. And I had a tape a year or so ago that a team ran a jet sweep. The handoff was perfect. The speed of the back was perfect. And there's the other thing that's interesting about the speed of this. We could take a 5'3", 40 running back who is too slow to play the game, and we can put him in motion like a relay racer, and he's running almost like a 4'3" sprinter. So we want him to take the ball wide, where the big difference between the jet series and the fly series, the fly tries to take the ball deep. We have problems. You know, defenses won't play exactly the way we want them, and the number 2 stretches. The guard and the running back should have to cut inside. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Here is a slot trying to block the number 2 defender. And he's trying to use a reach block. And remember, in a reach block, I tell you, he gives ground, he crosses over, he tries to get that right shoulder into him. But here's a guy that's a good defensive football player, and he's going to pursue to the outside. When that happens, our running back has to make a cut up inside of him, but as soon as he gets inside, he tries to break it to the outside, because he needs to run away from the pursuing defensive player. Now, a good defense that people like to use against an offense such as ours is a 4-4 defense. And we have a rule for our split end. 4-4 defense has 3 defensive backs. A 7-man front defense has 4 defensive backs. When we're playing against a 4-deep perimeter, our split end plays as wide as he can. When we're playing against a 8-man front with 3 secondary people, we narrow the split of our slot or split end down to no more than 5 yards. Now the basic 4-4 defense lines something like this against us. And we use what we call a tag scheme for us. Tag scheme means that our tackle and guard pulls. T for tackle, A for and G for guard. So against this defense, we're going to pull the tackle, we're going to pull the guard, and now our slot is going to block down, our split end is going to block down, our tackle is going to pull on the perimeter, our guard is going to pull very similar like we've been using. So we use what we call a tag scheme against that defense. Now, there's a crack scheme against versus invert. And what we mean by a crack scheme and an invert, and this is done when there's a 4 deep perimeter. And in this 4 deep perimeter, the corner backs off and the safety does an invert coverage. Now we want to crack with our split end, and there are times against this defense that you have to use the fly terminology. Another technique and fundamental that you have to adjust to is to control number 2 with a 2-time and a fullback offset. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Here is a team that their number 2 is really a tough guy to block, and our tackle was able to get number 1, but this number 2 is so good that one guy's not able to do it. So we have to put 2 people on him, and when we do that, we have a call that we call a fullback offset. And this is where the fullback lines up behind the tackle area, and now he leads the play on the corner man to the outside. Now, I mentioned the word fullback. There's many alignments for the fullback in our offense. Basically, the fullback is 5 yards from the center, toes at 5 yards from the center. Let's say our center is in that area. Now, we can offset him behind his tackle to the weak side, or offset him behind his tackle to the strong side. There are times that we put him in the front side B gap close to the line of scrimmage, or the back side B gap close to the line of scrimmage. But these are important techniques and fundamentals of our fullback in this particular offense. Now, we talk about fullback path, trap, ice, belly. For example, if we are running a trap, our fullback goes for the back leg of the quarterback's alignment, and he will run the daylight on the trap if the trap is to this side, or daylight if the trap is to that side. We have a play that we call the ice play. On the ice play, our fullback goes for the inside leg of his tackle on a slant angle. On a belly, he does a crossover step, a lead step, and a plant, and I'll even try to demonstrate that if I can. The trap of that fullback. His first step would be with the right, and he is coming up the midline to get the ball on the trap. On ice, he does a crossover step, and he runs a slant for the inside leg of that tackle. On the belly, And again, we use a 2-point upright stance for our fullback. On the belly, he takes a lead step parallel to the line of scrimmage, a crossover step parallel to the line of scrimmage. His third step is perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and now he is reading the belly play, and he reads the blocking on the line of scrimmage to make his particular cut. Now tackles block on a number 3 with a switch call. I'll put a defense up here, and the defense is aligned like that. Now, we would make a switch call where now our slot would come in and our tackle would pull around the slot's block. Now, another technique, guard pulls outside on hook and inside on stretch. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about a problem that we have when the number 2 man here is having trouble on his reach block. And if the guy is pursuing outside, now our pulling guard should cut up inside of that pull. Now, if that man is worked inside and our slot had to block him in, now our guard would pull outside on that stretch. If number 2 is on the line of scrimmage, block the widest. I'll give you an example of it. Now, number 2 is on the line of scrimmage. Now, that is when we block the widest in that respect. Something that we do differently in some of the jet people. Most jet people reach the center, they reach the backside guard, tackle, and end. We have found and I've seen centers trying to get the man in the front side B gap. And he'll reach on that front side B gap man, and he actually pushes him out towards the play, and I've seen that man pursue and stop the play. Now, we teach our center on the snap of the ball to step, and if there's a man on him, he will block the man on him. If there is no man on him, he will block the first man away from the sweep. Now, what it does, it sets up the trap, the sucker, and the gut trap that I'll show you. Now, our backside guard on every sweep play going to his left will do what we call a gut block. He'll take a position step, crossover step, and now he is coming for the front side linebacker. And what it does, even though we're running a sweep, it is setting up the onside play. Now, I'll show you what I mean by it. If there's a man on the center, he blocks on, the backside guard gut blocks. If there is no one on the center, he blocks away, and let's say it's a defense like this, our backside guard gut blocks. An example of the trap play, we have faked the jet sweep. And the defense might be a typical 7-man front where our center would post, the backside guard would double team, and our front side guard double teams, the backside guard traps. Now, we have another way of blocking that same play with what we call a sucker block. On sucker block, our left guard tries to reach or he pulls, we feel we can sucker that guy because we've been pulling the guard on all the sweeps going this way. So on sucker, the center block's on away, and the guard guts. Now the pure guss trap is where we are going to have the center block on, and the backside guard is going to gut. Now, the next problem that we run into is a 5 technique who says, and has been taught, don't ever let that guy reach you. You're going to come outside, and there's no way it's going to reach you. And this team has been running sweeps over there, and they take that nose guard and put them in the front side 1 technique, or they put them in the front side A gap. And now we have a play that we call the ice play. Remember I told you the fullback takes a crossover step and goes for the inside leg of that tackle. Now on the ice play, the quarterback hands off after the jet fake to the fullback on the ice play. And our blocking scheme, our slot back cheats into 1 yard out and 1 yard back because he has to beat the fullback into the hole. Our left guard will block, and depending on the defense, we will get a double team on the 1 technique. And on this, we feel it's an easy block for the tackle who has been reaching on that tackle on all the sweeps. So the ice play is an important play, and after the handoff, we want the quarterback to drop back. Again, like I said, there's a lot of techniques and a lot of fundamentals. It's just not the play. Now, I like to control the 5 technique with the belly play. The belly play is a play that most wing T teams have featured for years, and what I think is nice about the Jet Series is that we can combine our wing T plays. Now, our wing T belly play, and this is a 5 technique, how we control him with the belly is we fake the jet sweep. He's been having trouble all day, and he's reacting to that jet sweep, and we don't cheat the slot. We have him 3 steps out, 1 step back, and he comes shallow and comes on the linebacker that way. Now, depending on the front, if the nose is shaded too much, we might double. If the nose is backside, we might pull. So we run belly. This is where, like I said earlier and showed you earlier, crossover, lead step, crossover plant. And he takes that ball deep in the backfield, and the quarterback fakes a pass off of it. Now, we have to have a way to control the defense to the tight end wingback side. For instance, we've been running jet sweep to the tight end wing side, and the defense is running out on us, and we need a way to control this guy who doesn't want that tight end to block him. And we have found that the down play, and on the down, the fullback does a crossover step, and now he runs for the outside leg of the tackle. Our basic blocking scheme for our tight end is gap, no one is gap, down, no one in the down position. Linebacker, our tackle basic rule is gap down backer. Our front side guard's basic rule is to pull and trap. We give the ball to the fullback. After faking the ice, our quarterback hands the ball to the fullback. Then he fakes either a keep or a pass play going to that side. Now the down play is even better against the 7-man front. Against the 7-man front, there's many variations of it, but on the 7-man front, what I think is really great is the influence of the wingback who's been blocking down on the end, but now he comes in on the linebacker. The tight end blocks gap down backer. Our tackle blocks gap down and he has a backer. Our guard pulls and traps. Our quarterback has faked the jet, and now he hands off to the fullback who is quick bellying to the outside leg of the tackle. Now, there's about 5 basic plays in the jet series. There's a sweep, and I think you have to have some kind of a pass off of the sweep. You have to have some kind of a fullback play, which is the trap plays up the middle, the isolations to the side, the belly to the side. But you have to have a counter. And the best counter is the traditional wing T, halfback to halfback reverse. And I'm going to sort of give you that technique here because I think that is a very important play in the offense. Now we start with a handoff to the jetback. And our technique is a little different than the rigor isolation because we want the defense to see the handoff. So it's either on the midline or before the midline. And after taking the ball, he gives to the slot back who steps back 1 step, and he's coming deeper, and he is the ball carrier on the halfback to halfback reverse. The simplicity of the assignments are the tight end is gap down backer, tackle gap down backer, guard gap down backer, center gap down backer, guard block away. Now, our fullback fakes the trap or ice, and then he kicks out on the first guy outside of the tackle's block, and we pull the backside tackle, and the backside tackle reads the fullback's block. If he can see the fullback's numbers, he turns up and leads the play through the hole. If the fullback had to overblock the end, then the tackle will take it outside. It's amazing what you learn from other coaches. The way this play was originally originated for the quarterback after the handoff to run a bootleg. Hereford High School in Maryland, who's won the state championship with the Jet Series the last 2 years in Maryland, 2001 and 2002, has their quarterback go shoulder to shoulder with that tackle leading the play. They have the best halfback to halfback reverse that I've seen. I better talk about a couple of techniques. I'm that right halfback who comes in jet motion, and I get the ball a little earlier with the Delaware type handoff. I take the ball, stomach it, and I start getting it ready with the left hand to give to the right halfback coming this way. Now the right halfback, who is taking a step back, and he starts that way behind the wingback coming, He takes it and stomachs the ball, and now he reads the fullback and the tackle's block to take it off tackle or take it to the outside. It is amazing, and I have tapes of the people running this play. It's amazing the success that they have. Now, we've talked mostly about running plays. We got to have some pass plays in this offense. If we use the word jet in front of the pass play, our jet man blocks. In other words, if we have any formation and we want to have a pass where we're going to use the jet motion as a blocker, we use the word jet in the front of the play. If we want to use the word, have the jet man in a pass pattern, we will put a number in front, like 80 jet pass, jet man is in the pattern. And you can use almost any pass play that you have coached, and with a very good blocking scheme with the jet man as a blocker, or you can use a flood technique where the jet man goes out for a pass. A play that you almost have to have in the offense is a halfback pass versus cloud support or sky support. You're going to have to bear with me. I'm right-handed, and I'm going to put the slot out to my right, and we've been running jet sweeps to the right, and this split end, when he comes off the ball, the corner's flying up. The safety man sees that jet motion coming, and he flies up. And now, to me, the best play in football is the halfback running pass where the split end fakes a stock block and goes. We can at times have the slot back, if his man is coming up fast, that he runs a dump route, and it's an easy pass for this guy to throw. I tell our teams, I've had coaches tell me, my left halfback or my right halfback can't throw. Well, at least practice it before the game and scare your opponent that you're going to use it. Now, there is a number of different sweeps to the slot, the number of different sweeps to the tight end. I'll give you an example of some that I have seen. The sweeps to the tight end wing are the reach schemes that I drew up for you. Another scheme is that we call the Cumberland scheme, and I got to give credit to Herschel Moore and the coaches at Cumberland University who have really taught and expanded this offense actively in anyone I've seen. But their basic sweep is a sweep where the wingback blocks down and they pull the tight end. Now that's what we call the Cumberland sweep. There's a third sweep that I think is very excellent, is what I call the Auburn sweep. On the Auburn sweep, the tight end and wing block down, gap down backer, and they pull both the front side tackle and the front side guard and do a great job. And these are the basic techniques. We talked about the counters that are necessary in this offense. And the halfback reverse counter has been a staple of the wing tee. But another staple of the wing tee is the sally play. And the sally play, I believe, is even better from the jet series than from the wing T. Now, let's take a look at the Sally. Now, the right halfback fakes the jet sweep. The quarterback fakes the jet sweep, drops back a little bit, and he hands the ball underneath to the left halfback. The fullback fakes a trap up the middle. The left halfback does a drop step, and he takes an underneath handoff, and he runs to daylight. He's running to the right side of the formation. Our tight end hinge steps to pass protect, and he blocks the draw. The tackle hinge steps to pass protection. Our right guard does a hinge step. Our center reaches onside, and we will pull the left guard just like they do on the jet play. We want to make it look as much like the jet. The left tackle reaches are split in downfield or crossfield blocking. And now our running back comes and reads the block of the draw blocking on this side and runs for daylight. We have many varied blocking schemes to make adjustments, but this is the base Sally play, which I think is very excellent to this offense. Now, another play that we have been using, and I want to show it to you now, is a red jet pass to the left, bootleg to the right. Now, Rich Erdley, one of the coaches that worked with me when I was coaching at Carnegie Mellon, I think has innovated this play. And not only it is a good quick pass to the left, in case it's not open, they are able to boot to the right and have great success. Now, again, our left halfback fakes the jet sweep to the right. The quarterback fakes the jet sweep and then takes a three-step drop. Our split end does any of what we call the 90 game, the quick passing game. Now, he has reads. If the man playing him plays him too tight, he stalks and goes. If the man plays him too loose, he does a turnout. If there is a man playing him too far to the outside, he does a skinny post. If the guy might be playing him too soft, he does a stop route. The quarterback will read that. Now, the blocking of the line is what we call 90 blocking, three-step type pass protection to our left. Our tight end blocks for 2 counts, and he runs a flag route. And flag to us is that flag on the end of the field. But so after 2 counts of blocking, he runs a flag route. Our left halfback, who has faked the jet right, after faking the jet right, runs a circle route at about 5 yards depth. Our wingback blocks for 2 counts, and then he runs a 5-yard arrow route to the outside. Now, again, let's go over the quarterback's assignment. He fakes the jet, drops back 3 steps, reads if the guy is open to the left. If he is not open to the left, he rolls and will look deep for the deepest. He will look for the circle route, or he'll look for the arrow route. And this has been a very good play that Carnegie Mellon and my friends there are having great success with. Now another jet play, and a lot of people ask me, do you run the waggle? You've always been a great waggle coach in the wing tee. And I've found that the waggle is not as good in the wing tee because the quarterback doesn't get back deep enough. But I think there's a great bootleg play that can be run from the jet series. Now the quarterback and the right wing back fakes a jet sweep left. Quarterback makes his steps. He comes back like he would on a waggle for 2 steps, and then he starts bootlegging to the right, and he'll read the pass patterns from left to right. Our tight end delays for 2 counts and runs a 5-yard arrow route. Our fullback blocks the defensive end to the right after a trap fake. Now, we're trying to make this look like a jet sweep left, so our left tackle blocks on or inside. Our right guard pulls to the left like he does on the sweep. Our slot and split end comes off like he does on the jet sweep, but the slot does a 12 to 15 yard crossing route. The split end runs a post route, and we pull this guard. The center blocks on to his left like he does on the sweep. The tackle shuts off, and we have been able to make the bootleg go better than the waggle play. So I think it's an important play to have in the wing tee. This concludes our base jet series. Naturally, we have found new things and added things, and defenses have made us go to more advanced things, and maybe that'll be a tape in the future, because some of the things that we're doing now are so good that I wished I had more time today, but I'll do it at another time for you. Thank you, and appreciate your attention.